The all-powerful blade of the samurai.
Unfettered precision. Ferocious movement. Explosive strikes. High blood pressure. These are some ways to identify a showdown between skilled swordsmen, almost simulating this dance of swift slashes, adaptive movement, and precision parries, until one is utterly finessed.
You can see its influences reach galaxies far, far away.
The blade of the Bushido warrior is widely recognized as their primary tool of combat amongst others. Along with that armor set, or Dogi Hakama attire, leaves them looking poised for any occasion, lending to iconic characters and the insane world of anime. Alright, getting to the point of this. Yes, I like samurais, but how can you ignore this martial discipline that encompasses such a refined set of techniques? And then of course, the katana. Serving like a brush in the hands of each wielder, it allows them to express their understanding in form, power, and precision distinctly, which developed within me a deep appreciation for the skills that are involved. Aside from actually practicing kendo, the closest I've ever gotten to a samurai master is in video games.
Such a pity.
After coming home from a long day of school of dealing with Bebe kids, I'd turn on my PS2 to listen to the sound of some taiko drums and howling from God knows what, to procrastinate from doing my homework, to get some good old samurai swinging down. Definitely a timeless classic for me. Although it being a real dusty game, it is still one of my favorites today. And what I enjoy most about Kengo is how it acknowledges that there are different styles along with varying forms and techniques. And you can see it reflected in the combat system, having tons of moves and combination that make each style really unique and really fun to play. And that in itself allows you to develop your own sword style, lending to an endless amount of creative possibilities. The gameplay loop boils down to training your individual stats by means of mini-games, challenging different sword schools, fighting against groups of students, and then the master, followed by the end game, consisting of an imperial tournament that puts you up against the sword masters across the land to a duel to the death. Okay, I want to talk about the Bamboo Grove. The Bamboo Grove. The movement at first feels like you're constantly wrestling with your character's urge to run outside the camera to whatever is howling so you can give it a shape up so it can stop. Movement is challenging at first, but once you get the hang of having office wheelchairs for legs, you'll start finding yourself trying to cut down more bamboo to top your previous record. Also, the days counting down, marking how long it takes for you to get it, is a neat little detail I appreciate. Now, this has to be one of my favorite interactions in the game. After forcefully enrolling the master into a nursing home, his students are not going to take kindly to that gesture, and they're going to want to throw some hands, which is reminiscent to the Musashi versus the Yoshioka school. With that being said, please check out Vagabond. But although it's not to that extent, that encounter is still really
Nice.
Of course, we cannot ignore the core of it all, the combat. Again, although this is a really dusty game, I'm talking 20 years old, it is still, without a doubt, an enjoyable experience. I mean, I've only experienced one other title that introduces this type of mechanic, and thankfully it refined the system. And that is one of my favorite games as well, surprisingly enough, and that's Absolver. Now, before I jump into that, which is an obviously more fleshed out version of this, I just want to take a minute, just a little bit more time, to appreciate what Kengo brought to the table. So you have 4 combat decks. Within each deck, you have 4 forms, which allows you to allocate 3 moves per form, which gives you access to creating the coolest movesets or the perfect combination of cheese. Although not your traditional fighting game, the game still values the importance of proper spacing, timing, and the pressuring of your opponent. Along with managing the key meter, pairing your opponent's attacks are essential tools in weighting the battle in your favor. And as you get a reading on your opponent, you can begin dismantling their offense to make an opening to land that decisive blow. Absolver seems to have taken some inspiration from this. We also have 4 combat decks, though you're allowed 4 moves along with 4 alternative moves. Despite having 5 styles, the 5th being more recently included, opposed to Kengo's 8 school styles, Absolver still manages to have distinct attacks representing each style appropriately. You have damage values, speed, area of impact, and frame data on each move, and this is just the surface of the combat, as each style introduces their own unique defensive/counter mechanic, allowing for some very interesting and insanely entertaining build combinations. Kengo is a fantastic game, and it's unfortunate that the series was ran into the ground, but thankfully it was made, and despite being a buried treasure of gaming, it is a testament to samurai-inspired games done very well, and I would love to see a Bushido-inspired title with this level of depth incorporated in its combat, so I can at least, dump a solid 300 hours or something into it. Along with a captivating, artistically crafted world, it doesn't have to be high fidelity graphics, just something beautifully made, something akin to the gritty samurai films of old, or just the encapsulating beauty of the natural environment. Just being able to take a break and some mesmerizing sceneries would be welcomed as you're training to be the strongest under the sun.